Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Ballston Spa Central School District Board of Education for April 2nd. Can we all please rise? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome those who are watching on the live stream. I'd like to welcome those who are here in person. We have a good crowd tonight because we're doing some wonderful recognition, first thing, that we're all very excited about. Just want to share for the people who are here in the library, if for any reason we had to evacuate, behind me in either corner there are doors that lead outside, and then there's the entrance at the front of the library that leads out into the hallway. So we've got a lot to do here. Let's get right to the recognition.
Thank you very much. So first up, I'd like to call Principal Robinson from the high school, who is going to recognize a very special teacher from our English department at the high school.
Good evening, everybody. I'm here tonight to recognize Mr. Ham, Lance Ham, who was awarded the TCT Credit Union Teacher of the Week back in early February. It is chosen by a select group of people, diverse people from the community, families, neighbors, sometimes coworkers, all nominate people. And according to their communication, this was one of the people that nominated him. Mr. Ham has been teaching at Ballston Spa for 20 years and is dedicated to bringing out the best among his students. He always finds new ways to make learning fun. Mr. Ham is not only a great educator, but he's also often a support system for students. He has personally helped me get through some hard times when I wasn't sure how I was going to get through the day. Mr. Ham cares, and because of his support, I'm going to get through it all. He does everything in his power to make sure his students excel. Thanks again to Mr. Lance Ham for all he does at Ballston Spa High School. Lance, I know you're here. I saw you. Come on up.
All right, next up, if I could have Principals Johnson, Cataldo, and Rasmussen come on up. We're going to do some recognition for our fantastic Odyssey of the Mind teams.
Good evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here tonight to recognize our incredible Odyssey of the Mind teams. Let's have our two Malta Ave squads come on up, and I will introduce everyone who is here this evening. Malta Avenue has two teams going to states, which is very, very exciting. Up here, you're going to see some incredibly intelligent, hardworking, creative, incredible students. They did very well at the regional tournament that was a few weeks ago, and then this weekend, we could not be prouder. They are all headed to states. So first, just a huge round of applause for our two teams. And I'd also like to call up our two coaches. Come on up. Thank you. We have some incredible adults who are here working with our teams. We've got Coach Clark and Coach Harrison. So I will go ahead and introduce our students. So guys, here, let's go. I'm just going to come right over here. So first for our first team, coached by Miss Clark, I will call you on up. Mr. Cooper Clark. Nice job, sir. We have, can I just give you your sisters as well? Okay. Miss Kenzie, come on up. Great job, Kenzie. This is first years. Thank you, Coach, for all that you do. Rowan Anderson. Nice job, Rowan. Arlo Harrison. Great job. Tyre Rouse. Quincy Roy. Nice job, guys. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Principal Patel. Oh, we're going to do a photo. Yes. Perfect.
Can we do 2 rows?
We sure can.
3 or 4. We problem solve.
Yes, they are.
Let's have the taller students in the back, maybe.
Yes. Are we a little? We can do it.
Congratulations. Thank you, Coach.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kelly Cataldo. I am here to award some certificates to the Odyssey of the Mind team at Wood Road. This year, for the first time in a long time, we had 3 teams at Wood Road, which is a huge accomplishment for us. And one of our teams qualified for states, and we are super excited about that. So I'm going to do a little bit differently. I'm going to announce them all, and then my team, feel free to come on up. Coaches included. I'll include you at the end. So my team from Wood Road is Owen Doherty, Richard Fitzgerald, Evan Lee Gonzalez, come on up, Nolan Musili, Isaiah Petties, Maya Radovich, and then coaches Thomas Doherty, Justine Fitzgerald, and Richard Fitzgerald. Come on up.
Feel free to come up and take photos if you want.
Don't be shy, come on.
Perfect.
Let's hear it for that Wood Road squad again. All right. I also, at the middle school, we are here honoring 2 teams that are state-bound as well. I will do it a little different than both of the principals prior. First is because one of my teams is currently practicing right now and unable to attend, but they confidently asserted that they'll be back when we recognize them for going to Worlds, along with our other middle school team. So I'm going to recognize that team just by name and make sure they get their certificates as well, and hopefully we'll see them back here at Worlds. And that's the team coached by Coach Demerit, and the members are Alex DeFabio, Max Demerit, Rabling Harrison, Danny Hagan, Adam Loomis, Bryson Skeens, and Anthony Sorbera. So, congratulations. And for our team that already finished practice, because I'm sure they've done that for the day as they get ready for Worlds, I'll ask Coach Budlong to come up. Coach, where you at? Thank you. And I'll just read the names of our amazing team. And Coach can help me. Aaron Budlong. Ava Budlong. Ellie Famalo. Mia Herrera. She could not make it tonight. Scott. And Evelyn Snyder. Oh, and Coach Cyrus, too, sorry.
That does conclude the recognition portion this evening.
Okay, thank you. And again, congratulations to all our teams. If you would like to excuse yourselves. If you'd like to excuse yourselves, that's perfectly fine. I'm sure you have planning, homework. We'll have a brief pause. Okay, we're now at the time in our agenda for our first public comment period. Do we have anyone signed up? We do not. Our student government report.
Good evening. Recently, the student government attended the Suburban Leadership Conference, which proved to be both a valuable bonding experience for our members and an incredible opportunity to connect with other young leaders near us. The conference centered on a crucial topic: diversity, equity, and inclusion. Discussions focused on how we can actively integrate all forms of diversity, whether socioeconomic, racial, or otherwise, into our schools. It is essential that we remain committed to fostering an inclusive environment for all. In today's rapidly changing world, a commitment to DEI prepares us to lead with empathy, understanding, and resilience. We would also like to extend our congratulations to Troop on their outstanding performance, if I do say so myself. Additionally, we want to remind everyone that there will be an after-prom fundraiser tomorrow at the Speckled Pig, and we encourage everyone to come out and support. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for our student government representative?
No question, but congratulations on Troop to all the cast, crew, and pit. It was a phenomenal show. And to all the teachers and administrators involved for all the hard work that they put in. It was a wonderful event.
Wonderful. Thank you for the report. If you'd like to excuse yourself, you may. Next up is our approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the March 19th, 2025 regular meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any amendments or additions? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Minutes are approved. Our superintendent's report. Dr. Duca.
Thank you very much. I will defer to Mr. Sirianni for the first part of tonight's budget presentation, and then I will tag in for the second part.
So, good evening, everyone. Tonight is a short bit for the actual numbers and a little bit more about discussion of program and, the goals of the district. So I'm just going to jump right into the budget here. So this is our draft budget at this time. You can see the bottom line is 2.9%. Dr. Duca is going to talk about how we got there. We've covered the general support and instruction and transportation sections. We've covered a part of undistributed, which includes debt service, which we have covered, but we have not covered fringe benefits. So let's just talk about that. These are the employee benefits. You know, it's a large section of the budget. It's almost $30,000 coming into next year, and it's an important part, particularly when it comes to medical insurance. The district, like a lot of employers across the country, are experiencing large increases now. There were a lot of low increases in health insurance right after COVID, but once we got a few years past that, it's really started to climb, particularly prescription drugs. There are issues with you know, the various GTP ones and all that, and how they're growing. And the consortium that the school districts that the district belongs to is looking at that very carefully with consultants, with the insurers themselves, and seeing how that's going to play out over the next couple of years. But nevertheless, 6.2 on that is not bad, relatively speaking. It could have been easily twice that. Just taking a look at what's behind some of those numbers, the TRS rate is the rate on a salary that the school district has to pay for each person who is in the teacher retirement system. And that is 9.59% for next year, which is a 5.1% decrease. So that's good news. It runs around 10, 11%. That's their goal over time. ERS is the employee retirement system. That's the one for non-certified staff, so it's all basically your CSEA staff, if you can think of that. And that actually went up quite a bit, 8.6% increase to 15.5%. Now that's an average. It depends on what tier you're in. There's about 6 tiers in ERS, and they all have different rates. The most recent ones that everyone is moving towards have lower rates because they have less benefits, and that was something that occurred during the Cuomo administration. Looking at the health insurance increases, the renewals are between 11 and 15%. So the renewals themselves were quite high, but we've had a lot of shifting this year in particular, but over the last couple of years between plans and to basically lower cost plans. So when someone moves from a higher cost plan to a lower cost plan, it offsets the actual rate increase because we were paying more, the district was paying more, the employee was paying more, and then they move. The other thing is that we instituted a Medicaid Part D plan over the last year, and that has helped a lot too. We had 200 takers to that, which was amazing. So that was a great savings to the district and to those employees themselves too, those retirees. So in the end, we've got that under control, but the next couple of years could be quite a ride, so we'll see how that plays out. I want to talk about the tax cap for a minute. You've seen this slide before. It shows the allowable levy versus the actual levy that the board approved, and then the amount that wasn't levied. For 2026, the tax cap is 5.2% for the district. We don't have final numbers yet for revenue, so we don't know what we're going to be at, and that's a discussion for the board. But you can see that that's in about the range that it's been, over time. The Ballston Spa School District has a high tax cap because of mainly because of the changes in the global foundry pilot that keep decreasing, as we've discussed many times, and that has a significant increase there. And the other one is that the district has high growth in new construction, basically commercial construction. This year it was 2.4%. So included in that 5.2 is 2.4 in new growth associated with the new construction. And that also has to do with the global foundries, but Saratoga County has done great. Other schools in the county also do well. Stillwater generally sees a very solid growth in their new construction because, again, they're near the plant. But Saratoga County in general has been frequently, if it's not this year, I don't know for sure, but has been the fastest growing county in terms of that percentage in the state. So that covers that, and we'll see how that plays out. As I think you all know, the budget was due April 1st. That did not happen. They're stuck on several issues, including cell phones in schools and other things. And so we're sitting and waiting, which stops our process basically. We can only stop so long. At the next meeting, you will be adopting the budget, and we'll see how that plays out. But we have to adopt regardless if we have that information or not. Everyone generally believes that within the next 10 to 14 days, they should adopt the budget, so we should have those revenue numbers. So now I'm going to turn it over to the superintendent, and he'll take you through the heavy stuff.
So I was joking with Brian before that you can definitely tell whose slides are whose. So So I just like to start with, with our commitments. These are the things that we really ground ourselves in. And so in order to maximize the success of our students, and that's the biggest commitment we make, we're committed to making our students feel safe and secure in our buildings, prioritizing student, family, and community engagement, delivering high-quality curricular instruction to all our students, and building our students' leadership capacity. I mean, you just saw an example of that with our Odyssey of the Mind kids. In a lot of the building goal presentations, you kind of see these things woven in, and that's something that we always kind of bring back to how are we committing to do the best for our kids and making sure that they're successful. And so our overall goal is a meaningful diploma for all students. I mean, that's the end game for our students. Whatever opportunities, where they want to go in life, I firmly believe that we provide those here at Ballston Spa Central School District. Our district priorities, and so we're always looking at short-term and long-term goals, and we try to have a nice balance there. But our identified priorities of family and community engagement, MTSS, multi-tiered systems support, addressing chronic absenteeism, curriculum, instruction, assessment, diversity, equity, inclusion and belonging, student safety and staff safety, and our capital project development. And so some of our fiscal frameworks, and these are really pieces that help assist us with the entire budget process. Whenever there's a kind of a tough decision to make, I like to come back to some of these frameworks. And so, we're committed to providing our best opportunities where we're supporting students, but we're also using cost-effective practices. We're preserving and improving quality programs and services, looking at where we can be innovative, where we can be more efficient, trying to keep programming the same or improving it across the board, and then committed to the thoughtful allocation of resources. That's something that, Brian and I talk about, and we talk about with Pam's departments and the building principals. How are we spending? How are we allocating our resources? Is it the best way possible? Can we rethink things in order to potentially, in a year like this year, where we're looking to save and close a budget deficit, we want to make sure that we're very thoughtful in how we're programming, how we're scheduling, really taking a look at everything. And that's something that really starts, over the summer, looking and predicting where we'll be at this time and trying to find ways in order for us to save so that we can make sure that we're offering the best program possible for students K through 12. As far as budget priorities, so similar to the current budget, our priority is focusing on a reallocation of resources. Last year was a difficult year, as we all remember. This year was a little bit better, but by no means an easy year. So again, reallocating some of those current resources, making sure that we have equitable opportunities for our students. Some of the budget drivers, and we've talked about it, so foundation aid. And so everything that I'm going to talk about is based essentially on the governor's 2% base. So the first state aid run came out, we got the base level of 2%, and so that's basically what we built the budget on. So depending on how the final state aid run comes within the next 10 to 14 days, we could adjust, but she has said a minimum 2%, and so that's what we based everything on. Obviously, we don't need to belabor the global pilot reduction. We went into this year in a deficit of about $750,000 right off the bat. But I did want to talk about one thing. So, after last year, Brian is a tremendous planner, so we had some conversations that this year, again, was going to be difficult. So how could we try to attack it, without having to, reduce reductions in staff due to layoffs? And so one of the things that we were able to do with our teaching association is to enter an agreement with a retirement incentive. And the retirement incentive was really instrumental in helping us close the budget deficit, as you'll see here in the next few slides. So a couple program adjustments. So again, when we talk about a systematic approach, looking at everything, one of the areas where we've adjusted is summer school, whether it be straight summer school for high school, summer success, or ESY, our extended school year program for special education students. Last summer, we were able to amend a grant in order to fund our general education summer school across the board. And so this isn't an option this year. There is no grant money to fund summer school, but we still want to offer summer success and summer school for K-8 at the success level and 9 through 12. But it's going to be a little bit of a trimmed down version. So we're still going to offer the same classes. We're actually adding, at the middle school, we're adding world language to hopefully allow kids to gather that credit for their high school transcript. But one of the things that you can expect and will predict, and this is always based on attendance, but we are going to see some larger class sizes for summer school at each level. And so that was one of the ways where we were able to kind of reallocate and kind of cut costs a little bit, but still be able to offer the summer school programming that we have in the past. The other piece here is the extended school year. So a couple of years ago, we outsourced this to BOCES. We did that for a couple of years. Last year, kind of late in the game, we had to really pivot and offer a couple classrooms in-house. And so we decided to offer the entire ESY program in-house this summer, so we won't be busing any students over to BOCES for their ESY programming, and so that's something that we're able to do in-house, and I think it's going to be well received with parents, and special education students moving forward. And so last year, just to kind of refresh everyone's memory, we did reduce a total of 31 positions across all the bargaining units. Now, whether those be through retirement or resignations or reductions, it was the total number of 31. And so this year, with the assistance of the MOA for BSTA, between administrators and teaching assistants and teachers, we had 18 total retirements. And so we're able to essentially close the budget deficit through absorbing some retirements. Not all of them. We're gonna hire for some of them, but these are the positions that are going to be absorbed through retirement. So 1 administrator, 3 teaching assistants, 5 high school classroom teachers, 2 middle school classroom teachers, and 1 elementary librarian. By doing this, we can close the budget, and we're not looking at any layoffs this year. Which wasn't the case last year. We had to have some difficult conversations with some folks last year. These are, positions that we're absorbing, that we're taking a careful look at how we schedule to make sure that we're not going to, see an increase, a vast increase in class sizes, making sure, especially at the high school and talking with Principal Robinson, now that course selections are done and counselors have met with students, we start to do sectioning and kind of see, where our numbers lie, and that will allow us to determine, which departments we're going to absorb in. So we have a good idea, but I think in the next week or so, we'll fine tune it and figure out exactly which of the, there were, I believe, 8 or 9 retirements out of the high school. And so we're going to absorb about 5 of those and move forward there. These are some of the positions, or these are the positions that we're going to replace. So these are the retirements that we'll be replacing. So 1 teaching assistant, 3 high school classroom teachers, 1 elementary classroom teacher, and 1 elementary school counselor. So, a difficult year to close the deficit, but we're able to do that through absorbing these retirement positions, plus making sure that we're doing things fiscally responsible, making sure that we're not, taking a look at our IT, facilities, making sure that all our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted when we're looking at how we're spending our resources. And so when we talk about budget goals, so it's kind of twofold. So, how do we balance the budget, but really, how does the budget support the goals of the district? So, our first one here, so we want to be able to bridge learning gaps and continue to provide sustainable supports through responsible resource allocation. And so how do we do that? One of the things that one of our district goals is MTSS. And so, I meet with Dr. Sisk frequently. I get report outs, but I am just blown away at the work that she and the entire MTSS team is doing in the district. I'm very excited for the future results that'll be coming. She'll be coming to a future board meeting to kind of talk about all the work that's been done this year, how we're moving forward, but very excited about that. Continuing to support the elementary reading, math, science, social studies, and social emotional learning. So for the last couple of years, there was the word implementation in there. I think it's safe to say we're past the point of implementation. Now we're just making sure we're supporting that. We're making sure that we have materials and resources for our staff and our principals to make sure that they have what they need to deliver that content to our students. Maintaining and enhancing our current level of programming. So again, when we talk about the result of this, continuing to support all curriculum initiatives at the middle school. And so as Mr. Rasmussen's completing his first year, I'm very confident that he will be talking to us in the future about some enhancements he'd like to make the middle school. And so our budget allows for that. Same thing at the high school, exploring additional courses and learning opportunities. Mr. Robinson was here a couple meetings ago talking about the new things that are coming to the high school. Ongoing conversations with the budget and how we're looking to add courses that students really are engaged in, that they want to take, that are going to help them be future ready and be productive members of society. One of the things that continues to be a priority for the district is maintaining support for career and technical education opportunities. And so through BOCES, through WHE BOCES, the proposed budget includes funding for 70 students to take on BOCES courses off campus. But also it includes funds to maintain all our in-district CTE courses. So, our construction strand, our video production, these things that students really enjoy. And I don't have numbers projected for next year, but I will soon, once I meet with Mr. Robinson and talk about how many students are taking our in-house kind of CTE programming. So that number continues to grow each year. Continuing to maintain and enhance learning opportunities for our special education students. And so one of the big results is, current levels of support for students are maintained. We just talked about the in-district extended school year program. We're going to begin implementation of DCT, Direct Consultant Teacher, at Malta Ave. We're going to start with kindergarten next year. And then also the addition of the intensive math support for elementary students who qualify for that. That'll be an additional support for our K-5 students, in addition to all the other supports that we have. So, one of the things that in the special ed world, we've kind of moved past our reconfiguration and taking a look at the vision, both at elementary and secondary, making sure that there's a good flow, continuum of services with both. And I know both of those teams and really the department as a whole works extremely hard to make sure that we're providing supports for our students, but we're also educating our staff and making sure we have a really cohesive vision across the board. Again, providing dynamic and innovative learning environments that center on engagement. That's the name of the game, engagement. Can we engage our students? Can we engage our staff? And Mrs. Mottler and the PDC team continues to look for ways to enhance those PD opportunities. I am confident in saying that we're a leader in the region with how we approach professional development, whether it be superintendent conference days, book studies, our PDC team. I haven't really heard of any other district that equals us. So that is something that Mrs. Mottler and the team work extremely hard on, and something that is really a benefit not only to our staff, but our students in general. And continuing to improve our district facilities, to ensure safety and security. Again, a result, we're maintaining funding for our 2 school resource officers and maintaining funding to enhance and improve our current infrastructure. This is something we won't talk a lot about in public for obvious reasons, but Ed's team and Brian and IT, it's not just the facilities, but also how we're protecting against cyber threats and cybersecurity. So that's something that we're always looking to improve to make sure that our data is protected, that our students are protected, but really that our whole school and community is protected. And so as Brian alluded to, our next budget presentation is on April 22nd, and I am open for questions if anyone has questions.
Questions from the board members?
22nd to Tuesday, yeah. Yeah, so we changed that one.
Can you go back to the budget budget goal with special education?
So could you just speak to just to help everyone, the direct consultant teacher and then the intensive math support, just to,
Yeah, so, DCT right now exists on the complex. So in Wood Road, Milton Terrace, and Gordon Creek. We don't have a DCT option at Malta Ave. And so one of the elementary visions is a kind of a full-scale implementation of DCT. And so as we add DCT to grade levels at Malta, to be able to now say we have DCT across the board, we'll be moving the 15-1 classrooms to the complex. And the reason for that is there's more opportunities for those students to be inclusive and pushed out into other areas because there's obviously more classrooms and more space there. And so this is really about a 4 or 5 year progression. And so special education will be back later on in the year to kind of lay it all out. But one of the things that we want to have is DCT at all buildings so that a family coming in, if they have a student and they live in the Malta zone, now they don't have to change schools and go over to the complex, all right? And so we're going to start moving the kindergarten DCT into Malta next year, and then there's a progression for about 4 or 5 years when we'll be fully in Malta, and we'll have the 15-1 classrooms over at the complex. And so that is the plan for DCT. And so as far as the intensive math support, so right now we have a resource room at K-5, and so the intensive math support really offers the opportunity for specially designed instruction for the 30-minute pull-out portion for a student. And so this is going to allow special education teachers to move beyond supplemental instruction, and students will be grouped by similar need and grade level. And so for a resource room, it's a 5-to-1 setting, but for the intensive support, it's a 15-to-1 setting. So it's a little bit larger, but it's more targeted by need and by grade level. And so this might not be the case every year. So this is one that's going to be, kind of fluctuate. If there's a need for it, we'll have it. If not, we'll maintain resource room. And it's going to be a case-by-case determination if a student still needs a resource room. So intensive support is there as an addition. We do have students who qualify for it next year, so we will run some intensive support classrooms. And so that'll kind of be a year-to-year basis, but we definitely wanted to add it to the continuum of services.
thank you.
Okay? Yeah.
Just had a few more questions about the extended school year program.
Sure,
bringing that completely in-house. I apologize if I missed this, but about how many students participate in that program?
So
roughly?
I believe last year we had about 70 students slated, and I think around 50 came and attended.
Yeah.
So it's a large program, and so it's not all housed in one building.
That
So
was
we're-
my next
yeah,
question,
So we're going to do kindergarten to 3rd grade at Gordon Creek, 4th grade to 8th grade at the middle school, 9 through 12 at the high school.
Okay. And do we anticipate that bringing it all in-house might increase participation, or is that
Potentially.
hard to know? Okay.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem.
Other questions? No. Okay. So thank you very much, Dr. Duca. Thank you, Brian. And I just want to comment and share that, one of our goals here in Ballston Spa is to support all of our students and be able to provide as wide an array of academic and non-academic opportunities for our students. And so, this result, the achievement of this goal has the result of, often we have to try and shift, pivot, make sure we have everything covered. And that's what, is a theme for this year, is that we don't want to have really large either budget increases or budget, small increases from year to year. We want our community to have a reasonable expectation for what our ask is of them every single year. And we want to thank them for their support of all of these programs. You know, we heard talk about how we're keeping all of our health, counseling, safety protocols in place that allows us to have the environment where we can achieve the academic progress and the wide range of programming that we want to share. So we will communicate this out to the community. There's going to be a newsletter, there's going to be public forums, and that will all lead into the vote in the third week of May. And you know, again, we hope for the best news we can out of our state budget, and we look forward to more information and kind of the finalization of the budget, the finalization of our final ask of our community in the coming weeks. Thank you. Is there more to the superintendent's report?
There's not.
Committee reports. Do we have committee reports tonight? I think we do. Correspondence. Correspondence to the district.
So this time period, we had 6 total, 5 emails and 1 phone call. So an email asking for a letter of support, 2 regarding athletics, and 2 regarding student matters, and 1 phone call regarding transportation.
Thank you. And the board, since the last meeting, has received 6 emails. 1 thank you for our bike donation to the Health and Wellness Fair. 3 regarding athletics, 1 regarding electric buses, 1 regarding charter schools. We're now for our announcements. Ms. Delaney Elliott, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. Just a few announcements today. On April 7th, there'll be a dedication baseball game in honor of Dave Sunkus here at the high school. On April 8th, the robotics team will be hosting their annual pizza and mac and cheese fundraiser here at the high school as well. April recess runs April 14th through 18th, and the next Board of Ed meeting is April 22nd.
So just one note on Monday's dedication game to Dave Sunkus. That's going to be, I believe, a 4 o'clock start with a 5:15 first pitch, or excuse me, 4:15 first pitch. We're playing Burnt Hills, and so Dave was a member of the Burnt Hills community through his family and his children, and so that'll be a dedication game. And I believe later on in the season, when Ballston Spot plays at Burnt Hills, they're also going to do a dedication as well. So.
Thank you. Old business. Do we have old business from the district? Old business from the board? All right, new business. I have a motion to approve resolution number 438, Board of Education Policy Manual File 8230, Comprehensive Development School Counseling Program, draft.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 438 is approved. For resolution 440 and 441, we have an update?
No,
439.
I'm sorry, 439 and 440.
So yes, for both 439, homebound instruction, and 440, home or hospital tutoring policy, I had a further discussion with our school attorney, and we're able to consolidate these 2 policies and to have 1 comprehensive policy with a slight name change that would encompass both of them, because there is some redundant language in both of the policies. And so my recommendation would be to table both of these policies today, and then at the next meeting, we'll have the 1 single policy that would encompass both languages in there for the 28-day read.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve tabling resolution number 439 and 440?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion is approved to table resolutions number 439 and 440. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 441, adoption 2025-2026 district calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Jason, I do.
Yeah.
Hi.
Sure.
So Dr. Dugo was able to provide me with some information regarding the committee that, comes up with the district calendar. And it's basically based off the WHWSC BOCES calendar, which makes sense to align with that program. But I think we do recognize that the Ballston Spa district is kind of unique in that it's got a lot of urban, a little bit of urban being the county seat of government, suburbs, and rural. And really, when looking at specifically the days of the December 22nd, the 23rd, and then January 2nd, they are what I would call, in my opinion, convenience days, right? They kind of make sense to extend and do there. But there would be opportunities for other members of the community to have other holidays off as the district can gather what the need is, right? As an example, we had a discussion last year regarding Asian Lunar New Year, and the next day Schenectady put out their calendar. They did something similar with one of those days in the, I think it was this December 2nd and 3rd, were instruction days, and they chose 3 other days throughout the year, a Jewish holiday, a Hindu holiday, and an Islamic holiday. So I know the district is going to be reaching out to the district population and the staff with the capital project. There might be a good opportunity to understand what do we have out there is our population, because I think when I asked last year, we had a percentage of the population was like Asian when we were talking about the Asian Lunar New Year, but we didn't know what was the percentage of population for like Jewish community members. So maybe try to understand that and see if there's a need to build that into this calendar and rather have it just be found the Wish We BOCES calendar, crafted to what we want. So just my suggestion for next year for the committee. I don't have any problem with this calendar as see fit for the next year. I just wanted to bring that discussion up for the board members.
Okay, well, thank you for those comments. Any other discussion?
I just want to clarify that the Asian Lunar New Year is state mandated. That's not something where we follow in the BOCES or anything.
No, understood.
That's something
Yeah.
that we have to follow. I just wanted to clarify that for the record. I know you understand it, but.
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 441 passes. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 442, internal audit?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah,
Mr. Ryan?
just a couple more comments. Yeah, so as part of this internal audit, this was last June when the audit committee met, and the district took opportunities for corrective actions for some minor paperwork things that the auditor had identified. Corrective action plan looks really good. Happy with what the district came up with, and talk to the board members if they had any questions about that. But I think it was a good job addressing those concerns. So just want to highlight that. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 442 passes. Resolution number 443. So first, just a note that we will do a roll call vote on this one. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 443, purchase of school vehicles bond proposition?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Jason, I do.
Yep.
Today's my day. So I know EV, zero emission buses is a big topic in the community and throughout the whole state. And I know yourself and Dr. Duke and I attended a presentation at the Adirondack Area School Board Association last September by Dr. Rick Timms, and he's the Executive Director of Statewide School Finance Consortium. think of Brian on steroids, right, as far as numbers and education and how numbers and education work. And it was a very good presentation. It had a lot of numbers. To be honest with you, sitting there, it was a lot to take in. Definitely had to take the presentation and review it. I think board members, this was emailed to us on September 22nd, if you want to go back and review that. Particularly the pages 25 to 35 talked about this EV mandate. And he brought up a lot of good points as to, and I'll just start off with his quote of the presentation. New York State's going to run out of money, right? And but I recognize the position the district is in for this particular proposal, and doing a good job of separating it from the diesel buses versus this one EV buses, so that goes up to vote as separate entities, which is a good thing, so the districts can make up their mind. Just talking about the costs of this, Governor Hochul set aside $500 million of the 4.2 billion Clean Water, Clean Air, and Green Jobs Environmental Bond Act. And Dr. Timms talked about in this presentation another $500 million coming from the EPA, and that number was kind of reduced a couple months later to like $125 million. But when you look at the estimated 45,000 buses that are needed, and write this down, 45,000 buses times the voucher that we're going to get for this bus that we're going to do right now is $208,250. You multiply that, and it's $9.4 billion over 7 years to buy and produce those 45,000 buses, which comes out to $1.4 billion per year. And that's just the buses alone. That's not the infrastructure. That's not the training. So this criticism that you hear a lot for school boards is really at the feet of the legislatures in Albany. So my recommendation is for everyone to reach out to their legislatures to say this is really unsustainable. And when we look at, let's see my notes here. I'm in agreement with this proposition to buy this one bus. The district is in a tough position. It needs to get one. It needs to understand the training. It needs to get the data behind it. And I'm in favor of getting this one bus. I'm also in favor of the district residents choosing to vote this up or down. And I'm so glad it was a separate item. Just want to get those numbers out there for board members in the district. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? All right, and I just want to clarify what Resolution 443 is. So as part of our budget vote, there are separate propositions. Resolution 443 authorizes the appearance, the placement of two propositions in the budget vote. One is for the traditional diesel and gas buses, probably gas, and the other is for the electric school vehicle. And the proposition says that if said propositions are approved by the voters, then we are authorized to do the bond anticipation notes and then the bonding to ultimately pay for those. So it authorizes the placement of it, and then it has some language in terms of the legal and financial obligations that would come from the passing of that. So that's what it is. Because it includes those provisions, we need to have a roll call on this. So we'll go down with the board members. First, Mr. Ryan. Aye. Ms. Rodriguez. Aye. Mr. Dreher. Aye. Ms. Barker Flynn.
Aye.
Dr. Routport Baskin.
Aye.
Ms. Whittemore.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Resolution number 443 passes. I have a motion to approve resolution number 444, Ballston Spa Public Library proposition.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 444 passes. I have a motion to approve resolution number 445, extension of bid, safety, and security film.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 445 passes. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 446, agreement, professional services.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 446 passes. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 447, obsolete equipment?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 447 passes. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 448, establish awards?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 448 passes, and I want to thank the supporters and the people who are establishing these 2 new scholarships for our graduating students. I have a motion to approve resolution number 449, scholarship changes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 449 passes. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 450, placement of students with disabilities?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 450 passes. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 451, placement of preschool students with disabilities?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 451 passes. Resolutions number 452 through 457 are recognized as a consent agenda for the purpose of Board of Education action. May I have a motion to approve resolutions number 452 through 457, the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Aye. Resolutions number 452 through 457 pass. Do you have any other new business? Okay. Now is the time in our agenda, our second period for public comment. Do we have anyone signed up? We do not. We have any representatives from our associations? No? Okay. Anything from our board liaisons to our community groups? Okay.
Not even you. Time for the PTA.
It's time for the PTA report.
I didn't think there was going to be one.
Our high school PTSA, as we've heard twice tonight, and I will say it again, we have a after prom fundraiser event tomorrow night. It's Thursday at the Speckled Pig, starting at 4 p.m. Middle school PTA, they're working on their spring book fair. They're looking for volunteers to help run it. Their book fair runs from Thursday, May 1st to Friday, May 9th. They're looking for setup help on April 30th. Gordon Creek PTA, upcoming, they're working on an April 25th talent show, April 28th through May 2nd book fair, May 16th spring fling. Malta Avenue PTA, spring planting projects. Rehearsals are underway for the spring musical. Performance is May 30th, and they are planning for their Malta and Beyond event, which would be on Friday, June 6th. Milton Terrace PTA, Thursday, April 3rd, that's tomorrow night, is their annual family bingo night, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. in the cafeteria. April 3rd, after that, is the PTA meeting at 7 p.m. Sunday, April 27th, Speckled Pig Dine to Donate event. April 28th through May 2nd is their Scholastic Book Fair, looking for volunteers. And they're looking for donations for their staff appreciation lunch in early May. Wood Road PTA coming up April 8th, spring photos, and their 5th grade panoramic picture. That's what we have for PTSA and PTA updates. All right. So we do have reason to go into executive session tonight. We will not be returning to open session afterward. I need a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss the employment of a particular person and collective negotiations with the Administration Council.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all for attending.